I was gonna record and I didn't even hit the fucking button. So I'm gonna paint while I tell you my coming out story. So, for a while, since I was, I want to say 9, I was bi for a while. I was an ally until I was about 8 or 9. I became bi at about 9 or 10. And then when I got into 7th grade, so when I was, I think 12, I don't know. I'm bad with numbers, guys. When I got into 7th grade, my best friend, you know her as Mia on here, she introduced me to pansexuality. And I was like, that's cool. So I started learning more about it. I started getting to know what that was, and I learned from her mostly. So then I decided, okay, I kind of like that. It doesn't really matter to me what the person identifies as. So I'm pansexual. That my parents kind of knew for a while. I'm very open about it. I don't really hide stuff from them often. And I that sorry, this is hard. Apparently I can't multitask. I officially told my parents around, I want to say, winter of my 7th grade year. Didn't really explain it much, but I told them, hey, I just kind of like people as people. At that time, I was in a sort of situationship with a friend from summer camp, who is now my girlfriend, who I talk about on here quite often. Love you, babe. And I've experimented a little in different relationships. I have 2 ex-boyfriends who are actually very good friends of mine still. But being pansexual, being demi and non-binary and all these different things are a very big part of my identity, to the point where I have gotten a lot of comments from friends, from classmates, you're making it your whole identity. I really don't think I am, but, you know, I don't see myself the way other people see me. And honestly, I'm glad that that's the case. So that year, I noticed a change in my grandmother. As she gets older, I've noticed her filter starts to kind of fade. It's been more of Jesus this, Jesus that, which is fine, until she tries to push it more. I did not feel safe coming out to a lot of my family because I grew up Christian. Not exactly heavily Christian, but enough that it didn't feel right for a while. And it took me a very long while to accept the fact that I was not a girl. I went by she, they for a very long time. Probably from the point of being 10 to probably 13, honestly. And unfortunately, that part of me is honestly something probably only my friends know. Because I was not she, they for long. And that part of me took a backseat as in 2023, August 21st, my best friend, my grandfather, passed away of organ failure. And I never got the chance to come out to him. I continue art, I continue archery, and I continue fishing for the most part because of him. Actually, since that, I have painted, I have drawn more because it makes me feel close to him. And because I didn't get to come out to him, I felt it important that August of last year, I came out to my grandmother. So, my grandmother, again, Christian. I didn't think it would be that terrible. I didn't think she would accept it, but I didn't think she'd be really, like, a jackass about it either. I was wrong. Surprise. I sat her down. During the summer, I used to do a lot of lunches with her. She'd come over like Thursdays and I'd make her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We'd eat together, we'd watch a show maybe, and then she'd go back home. And unfortunately, I made the decision one day of inviting her over, saying, I have something to tell you, making her a sandwich, and when she arrived, I sat her down, I talked to her, I had a nice conversation, and then I go, I have a question to ask you. And she goes, okay, and I go, can I tell you something? And of course, her being family goes, of course, tell me something. I very plainly, very simply told her, I am non-binary, these are my pronouns, and Hikaru is my name. My dead name, I had not been using for about a year at that point, little under a year. I had talked to my school counselor, talked to my friends, and gotten my name changed that November. So when August came around and I came out to her, I was Hikaru. I was Kiki, I was Keeks, I was Karu to people who knew me. Like, that is who I was. I was no longer my dead name. And to her, I was. So I came out to her. I ran her through it. I explained, this is how I feel. I didn't get into the technicalities of I'm pansexual, I'm demi, I'm poly. No, because at the time I didn't know I was polyamorous. I also did not go into demi or pan or asexual because I didn't think she would comprehend that. And I thought the most important part at the time was non-binary. And I still think it is. So, I talked to her. I very clearly explained this is what that means. Thinking, okay, she might have her precautions. Everyone does. She might not fully accept it. I expected her, because I know how she was raised, because I know her beliefs, and I know her, I expected her to reject me right off the bat, which she did. The first words out of her mouth were, that's disgusting. And that is wrong. Which I expected. I prepped myself for that. The way my brain works, I have to calculate everything. I went to Spain for spring break with my Spanish class, and I was terrified because I couldn't plan everything. That's just how my brain works. So when I sat there and I knew, okay, she's going to be disappointed, it was a comfort. Not because I wanted her to be disappointed in me, but because I knew how to react. So, I told her, we talked about it, I explained. And we start talking about, do you have friends that are like this? And I go, yes. Actually, most of my friends are queer. I have a couple of friends who have changed their names. My best friend is gender fluid. My girlfriend is trans. I very clearly explained that without giving names because she does know some of my friends. And I don't want her to change her perspective on them because they're very sweet people. So, she went through the standard things. It's a phase. You're confused. This isn't influenced by your peers. That stuff. You're in your phone too much. What was not okay about this was that she started saying, well, it's your friend's fault. It's your teacher's fault for not turning you away from this path, for not keeping you the way God created you. Ain't that lovely? I don't personally believe in God. I'm Wiccan. I believe in the god and the goddess. At the time, I was atheist. I think there's still part of me that leans toward atheist, but I am trying out Wiccan. My friend is Wiccan, and I want to try it. So, anyway, we talk, and she starts saying, well, it's your teacher's fault, it's your friend's fault. And I'm like, okay, no, it's not. I start getting defensive because that is my people. I came out to my choir teacher and my drama instructor first because she is one of the biggest influences in my life. She is part of why I chose the name I have. And to be told by a woman I have been practically raised by, this is not you, is horrible. It's shitty. And, so then she goes on to say, what would your grandfather say? Remember, this is the grandfather that was my best friend. I did everything with him. And I go, I don't know. Well, you knew him. What would he think? I don't know. He was your husband. What do you think he would think? Because I don't know. Because I don't have the luxury of speaking to him about this. That's why I'm coming out to you. And she used that. And she's used it a couple times. I told her a few weeks ago, I want to get a thistle tattoo on my collarbone because I'm Scottish. My grandfather, the first thing people think of when they think of him is he was very proud to be Scottish. That's what I like to think about it. He was funny and he liked to be Scottish. So I want to get a thistle, like, right here for him. And she told me straight to my face, don't tell him, don't say that's for him. That is not for him. That's disfiguring your body. He would not want you to disfigure your body. It's why she's so against me getting tattoos, piercings, top surgery, all of that. So I remember very vividly, I ended up talking to her for a little while. We actually talked about a family member for a little while after that. She left. And as soon as she left, I called my mom. I sat on my bed, and I cried. I don't think I cried because she didn't accept me, and I think she cried wow, I can't even say English. I think I cried because she used the people closest to me to try and reason with why my identity is this. It hurts. It does. And I'm sharing this because I feel comfortable doing it. Because I believe my channel is a safe space and I want to keep it a safe space. And because I know I don't have a big following, but I know there are people out there who do not have the luxury of coming out safely or who do not want to come out because they don't know. So I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know what can happen. I want you to know that everyone goes through this in this community, whether they come out or not. It's scary. It's hard. There are people who, like my grandmother, are gonna be pissed and be judgy about it. She still is. I have cut contact with her, and I only see her when I absolutely have to. But it still hurts. It does. I bind a lot. I met someone through theater last year that had gone through top surgery, and we ended up talking about it, and they said, well, I have an old binder. Send me your measurements and I'll bring it to rehearsal tomorrow night. So I did, because I trusted them. And now I have a binder. Now I have a method to make myself feel like myself when I can't get the money for the surgery that I need. So there are people out there who will help. It's not hopeless. Unfortunately, with our political situation, it's not the greatest either. But it's not like we're stranded, which is the good thing. Me personally, because of what's happening, I know Trump has his ways. And we don't know if the next president's going to change some of this if it goes through. Unfortunately, that is enough to make me, a lot of my friends, and my girlfriend want to move. So as soon as I graduate, I'm moving to Spain. Because I feel safe in Spain. Because the week and a half I was in Spain, I felt the most like myself that I had in months. There are places like that, and I honestly hope everyone finds that. I think everyone deserves to find that. But